Hey there to our 126 subscribers, our future subscribers, and all the people that secretly watch us without subscribing. Welcome to my video about Lady Bird Lake, a gem in the heart of Austin, Texas. In this video, I will talk about the lake itself before I go over the victims of the area, including a few survivors that were hospitalized. I will also talk about theories of others, but I will try to save my own theories until after I'm done telling you about the people. And near the end of the video, I will put unnamed victims by date. The lake was created in 1960 to act as a cooling pond for a new city power plant. Once a neglected stretch of the Colorado River, it transformed into a stunning urban oasis, thanks to the vision and efforts of Lady Bird Johnson. She spearheaded a campaign to clean up and beautify the area, leading to the creation of this vibrant recreational space. Today, Lady Bird Lake boasts scenic bike trails, kayaking, and lush green spaces that attract both locals and tourists. However, swimming was prohibited in 1964 due to significant safety and environmental concerns. The decision stemmed from a combination of poor water quality and dangerous submerged debris left behind from old bridges and dams. Additionally, several drowning incidents in the 1950s and 60s, including the deaths of two young sisters, highlighted the lake's hazards and led to the long-standing ban, ensuring the safety of visitors and addressing water quality issues. Despite the ban on swimming and the fact that deadly algae has been present since 2019, Lady Bird Lake continues to be a beloved spot for outdoor activities and relaxation. Its transformation from a polluted river to a picturesque lake is a testament to the power of community effort and environmental stewardship. But beneath its calm surface, Lady Bird Lake harbors a darker history, marked by a series of mysterious deaths and disappearances that have left many questions unanswered. Join us as we explore the mysterious deaths at or near Lady Bird Lake. Please keep in mind as we go through these, post-mortem ethanol production can occur due to microbial activity, particularly in warm and moist environments. This means that after death, bacteria and other microorganisms can produce ethanol as they decompose the body's tissues. This can complicate toxicology reports, as it may be difficult to distinguish between ethanol consumed before death and ethanol produced post-mortem. Also, please excuse any mispronunciations. I mean no disrespect. There are a lot of names in this video and I don't really know how to pronounce them all. Also, some people were impossible to find any information on, but I will share what I found. Photos will be provided where available. "55-year-old Riad Elsolh Hamad. Riad was a dedicated school teacher and peace activist known for his work with the Palestine Children's Welfare Fund. He was passionate about humanitarian causes and worked tirelessly to aid children affected by conflict. He disappeared on Monday, April 14, 2008, and he was found April 15th. His body was covered by injuries according to someone that examined it. His eyes were duct taped and hands and legs bound, but his case was filed as self-inflicted. About 2 months earlier in February, FBI seized 40 boxes of paperwork from him. He was under investigation for bank fraud, wire fraud, and money laundering, but no charges were ever filed. It is speculated that the search was some sort of retaliation for being outspoken politically. And it is further speculated that his death was also retaliation for the same. I can't say whether it was or not, but I would like to think the FBI would have the ability to make it look more authentic than that he did it himself than the condition he was found in. But then, it's also possible that the FBI raided his home to cause enough distress that people might believe he could hurt himself. Another theory suggests that Israel could have done it to make it look like it was self-inflicted as an insult to his beliefs. and they just did a bad job of it. We may never know. "26-year-old Nazima Yoko Habibul. Yoko was very loving, caring, generous, outgoing, and extremely family-oriented. Everybody will miss how she lit up a room when she entered. She was a preschool teacher who left behind a 2-year-old daughter. She disappeared Thursday, May 29, 2008, and was found on June 1st. She had apparently vanished after telling family she was going to the grocery store. The theory is that it was self-inflicted." 21-year-old Cole Christianson. Cole was a former student of the University of Alaska, Anchorage. Dennis, a friend of Cole's who attended Diamond High School with him in Anchorage, said Cole was a big hockey fan and was funny, popular, and kind. He said he made a lot of people laugh. He had a really big smile. He treated everybody really well and was kind to everybody that he knew. He spent countless nights tearing apart jet skis, motorcycles, and any other toys he thought he could customize. Cole truly lived life to the fullest. There was nothing that could stop him from doing something he loved. He was the definition of a daredevil. He loved his family and friends more than anything else. He surrounded himself with amazing people who had the same values as he did. Cole spent much of his time with the family and friends at his cabin on Big Lake. Big Lake was his favorite place to be. He loved sitting by the campfire, wakeboarding, jet skiing, and anything that had to do with water. He was found Saturday, October 13, 2012, at 11:10 a.m. by an employee of Austin Music Hall. He was lying in Shoal Creek behind Austin Music Hall. 20-year-old Eleno Valle. Eleno was a student at St. Edward's and was known as a kind soul who fought for the rights of others. His friends said he went out of his way to help others, even if it meant staying up all night. He would drop whatever he was doing and rush to a friend in need. He loved racquetball and orchestras. He disappeared on Friday, February 7, 2014, and was found 10 days later on February 17th. He told his roommate that he was going for a walk. The roommate wasn't concerned when he didn't return because he figured he might be out with friends. His death was said to be self-inflicted, but I couldn't find any more information. "28-year-old Karl Savio Pimenta Pereira. Karl attended Virginia Tech University, where he received his master's in engineering. He worked in the semiconductor industry and was employed by Intel Corporation for 3 years. His accident was Saturday, May 10, 2014. EMS officials received reports of a paddleboarder falling into the lake around 7 p.m. Medics said they shifted to recovery mode around 7:40 p.m. after the man was not located. "25-year-old Eron David Wrublik. I went to his Twitter to find out more about him, and he said something that made me laugh, so I thought I would share it. He said, 'I hate Subway. Jared lost all that weight because they didn't give you any meat.' He stopped posting about 4.5 months before his passing. He disappeared Friday, October 10th, 2014, and was found on October 13th. Eron went downtown with his friends on Thursday night. He hailed an Uber to get home to Rainy Street, but the driver dropped him off outside the Holiday Inn near Interstate 35 around 2:30 Friday morning. He was found by 2 fishermen. "22-year-old Julio Santos III. Julio had just graduated from the University of North Texas. He was known for his big heart and friendly nature. A noted thrift store fanatic, Santos took immense pleasure in rescuing abandoned clothes and turning them into something beautiful. His school blog was called Juju the Guru. In February 2013, he had wrote on the blog, "You are welcome to visit whenever you need a laugh, fashion inspiration, or a good eye roll, especially the eye roll." He disappeared on Friday, June 5th, 2015, and was found on June 7th. He was last seen on 6th Street chattering all night to friends about an upcoming internship with Nordstrom in Seattle. His body was found floating in Lady Bird Lake a mile away. Julio's snakeskin wristlet turned up behind the bar at Barbarella, still containing loose cash and an ID. Employees were not sure where it had originally been found, though. However, he was last seen at a food truck. One detail about finding him that seemed off was that his belt was missing. 38-year-old Damien Jomar Adams. I couldn't really find any information about who he was, but the incident took place on Saturday, October 24th, 2015. Austin police say multiple people called 911 about a reckless driver going in and out of traffic at high speeds on northbound Mopac Expressway. At some point, the man lost control and crashed into the guardrail on the Mopac Bridge over Lady Bird Lake. Police say he then intentionally jumped off the bridge and fell into the waters below. Alan Pogue was taking pictures of cranes on the pedestrian walkway under the bridge at the time. He says he heard the crash and saw the man fall over the ledge. When he looked up, he saw a body falling feet first. He said the man hit the water very smoothly and then came up for air in the water, but he was struggling. He was obviously in shock and somewhat disoriented, looking around and dog paddling. Then he sank. "23-year-old Santiago Becerra Gonzalez. Santiago was a graduate student in the accounting professional program at the Macomb School of Business. He disappeared on Thursday, November 26, 2015, and was found November 29th. Santiago's sister reported him missing on November 26, Thanksgiving, to the University of Texas Police Department. A person traveling by canoe eventually found him and called the police. 47-year-old James Scott Fusco. I couldn't find any photos, and it was stated that he was homeless. He was found on June 9th, 2016 in Waller Creek, and I couldn't find any other information on him. "35-year-old Fernando Domingo Ortiz. Fernando came from a big family. He loved fishing and going anywhere with the coast. He was described as a gentle man with the heart of a child, a humble and quiet soul. He had previously lost his wife and often talked about how much he missed her. He was found Saturday, June 18, 2016. His body was discovered by two people fishing, and a call was made to authorities at 3:02 p.m. He was eventually identified by his thumbprint from a Department of Public Safety record. 24-year-old Tia Shane Brooks. Again, there's no photo with this one, and she was stated to be homeless. She was found Saturday, April 15th, 2017. Austin police responded to a call of a person drowning in Waller Creek at 3:16 a.m. Sadly, by 4:14 a.m., Tia was pronounced deceased at the scene. "43-year-old Daniel W. Michael. Daniel was described as sweet-natured with a sense of humor. Looking at his Facebook, he seemed like he was really into music. One comment describing Daniel on his Facebook said, "Daniel was a superb individual beyond criticism and compare. No other man could have faced such cross-eyed, scathing words without saying so much as a single word back to an inhospitable personality like that bum," which was a reference to his potential attacker. He was found Sunday, May 14th, 2017. News reports claimed he was homeless, but looking at his Facebook page from 3 days before his death, it implies that he had a home or was living in a shelter, and that a homeless man was threatening him and throwing rocks at him. He even commented the day before he died about the guy. The post also includes a description of the guy that was threatening him. Daniel described him, saying he dresses kind of feminine. He is like an old black man with bleached little dreadlocks, and he wears pastels and beads and shit. Daniel was wearing a University Medical Center Brackenridge Hospital gown because he had been in the hospital for a head injury. It is believed that earlier that day he left the facility against medical advice. "43-year-old Joshua Head. Could not find any photos. I could not find anything about him. He was found Friday, June 16th, 2017. The Austin Fire Department was called when a paddleboarder found a body in the water. Rescue crews recovered him shortly thereafter." And that was unfortunately the only information I could find on his case. "61-year-old Jesse Perry. Again, I could not find a photo. It was stated that he was homeless. He was found Tuesday, May 29th, 2018 in Waller Creek. "61-year-old Ray Figueroa," or something like that. I couldn't find any information about Ray. He was found Tuesday, June 12th, 2018. A month and a half later, on July 26th, he was identified after a non-working cell phone was found and data was extracted. The only information I could find, I'm not 100% sure it's the same person, because although the age and name are the same and the location is nearby, the date of death is listed as the day before he was identified, which is a month and a half after he died, so I am unable to confirm if it's the same person, so I don't want to spread disinformation. "44-year-old Walter Jack Woynarowski. Again, I could not find a photo. It was stated that he was homeless, and I also seen a report saying that in 2016 he was going to court for family violence. He was found Wednesday, July 25th, 2018 in Waller Creek, and it took 3 weeks to identify him. "37-year-old Louie Alberto Ramirez. Louie moved to Austin for college, earning a double degree in psychology and political science. But despite that, he followed his passion in music, working as a DJ his entire adult life. He was known for being loving and caring, with an interest in helping the homeless. He loved nature and hiking. He was found Wednesday, August 15th, 2018. He was afraid of water, so people don't think he walked down to the water on his own. And that is all the information I can find on his disappearance." 25-year-old Christopher J. White. Chris attended Cherry Creek High School and was a 2015 graduate of the University of Colorado Boulder. Chris had been living in Minneapolis, Minnesota for 3 years and working at homegrown lacrosse as the CFOO and youth coach. His girlfriend's name was Olivia, and they had a dog named Coda. He loved to travel and went with Olivia to places like Costa Rica, Thailand, and Vietnam. He loved to hike, snowboard, dirt bike with his brother Matt, and scuba dive. Chris also loved the game of lacrosse, coaching and mentoring young men, and was known as a fierce competitor both on and off the field. He disappeared Saturday, October 6, 2018, and was found 2 days later on October 8th. He was in town for the ACL Music Festival and staying with friends at a rental home in West Austin when he disappeared. He had been drinking in the early morning hours at the home on Smoky Ridge Road. He told his friends that he wanted to check out the water and left without his shoes, wallet, or phone. When he didn't return, they decided to file a missing persons report. 2 days later, a passerby discovered his body floating in Lake Austin near a dock in close proximity to the rental property. The medical examiner found no injuries or illnesses. Toxicology testing showed traces of ethanol, cocaine, and MDMA. "25-year-old Martin Gutiérrez, also known as Dimples. Martin was a caring and loving guy who enjoyed working out and socializing. He played sports in high school, then went to Texas Tech and got his bachelor's degree in business. He had moved to Austin to stay with his brother and sister-in-law. He disappeared Monday, November 19, 2018, and was found a week later on November 26th. He was found floating in the water near the area where he was last seen, near Lady Bird Lake. CCTV footage shows him heading towards the water, dancing around in a way that was not normal for him, even when he's drinking. The medical examiner ruled his death an accidental drowning while intoxicated. He had blunt force trauma to the back of his head. There was bruising on his scalp and swelling in his brain and chest cavities. "48-year-old Randy Alex Lexfold. Randy studied electrical engineering at Georgia Tech and at the University of Tennessee. He went on to his successful career in software development for 27 years. He even co-authored a book in the same field. He was married with 3 daughters. He loved outdoor activities like running, cycling, and hiking. He was competitive athletically, competing in marathons. He disappeared on Thursday, December 7th, 2018, and was found later that day. Randy was in Austin from California to see his daughter compete in the USA Junior National Swimming Championships, which were being held at the University of Texas. Investigators could not determine how he ended up in the water, but they do believe he either fell off the 6th Street Bridge, was pushed, or maybe even hit by a car. Randy suffered from a broken clavicle, broken ribs on both sides of his body and front to back, a broken thumb, a very badly broken femur bone, which is the largest bone in the body, a puncture wound in the head right above his right eye, which caused hemorrhaging in the skull area, and the pooling of blood in the liver was on the opposite side as to how his body was found. Despite him being highly intoxicated and falling from the bridge, that doesn't account for his injuries. He did text someone at 1:30 a.m. from what I could find out. The police still have his phone and haven't released who he texted or what it was about. "28-year-old Jake Waltrip. Jake lived in Houston and Denton before moving to Orange County, California for 2 years and working at Luma Prints. In 2018, he moved back to Texas and started computer coding school at Austin Coding Academy and received his full Stack Java Web Development certification in 2019. After doing some contract work, he began working for Mathalicious, a website with real-world math lessons for middle and high school teachers to use in their classes. He was very excited about this job and was very optimistic for his future. Growing up, he enjoyed riding a golf cart and shooting targets out in the country at his grandma and grandpa's, as well as shooting at the gun range with his dad and Uncle Paul's house with all the guys and some of the ladies. As he grew older, he became very philosophical and greatly enjoyed reading as well as watching and discussing podcasts about life and what is true and important. He also loved being outdoors and running, riding his bike around the lake, kayaking and camping out in his tent and chilling in his hammock. I also found a website of his where he listed himself as an avid ufologist, however you want to pronounce that, and a freelance web developer. He was found Saturday, September 28, 2019. EMS, police, and fire crews responded to reports of kayakers bringing a body to the boat ramp behind the Holiday Inn near 739 East Avenue, just before 5:30 p.m. It did claim on the one website I found that homicide detectives were investigating, but since it's been almost 5 years and no online update, I assume they closed the case like most of the others. Next up is the first survivor that I want to talk about, 21-year-old Christian Tyler Pugh. Christian's LinkedIn account describes him as passionate in the progressive development of community growth expressed in a multitude of spaces within the retail and art-focused realms, putting emphasis on design elements which can act as tools for those to push a product or display a piece elegantly. He disappeared on Sunday, November 17, 2019, and was found November 19th. Christian was in town to see a comedy show. A video showed his friends waiting for him to come out of a bar, but they say he never came out. He was found a couple of days later in critical condition, deep in the brush off of the hike and bike trail, a 5-minute drive from where he was last seen, which is more than a mile away. Christian had injuries that authorities believed were consistent with the 30-foot fall that they believed he had. It said that he not only had broken ribs and a dislocated leg, but he had a welt on the side of his head, a traumatic brain injury, and bloody knuckles that he felt were more consistent with a fight. He was induced into a month-long coma, after which he needed to relearn how to write. "26-year-old Eric Hernan Manzanares Medrano. Searching through the internet, I can't really find anything about him, other than he lived in San Luis Potosi City, Mexico, and he had family in Austin. He disappeared Saturday, May 22nd, 2021, and was found on May 24th. Information is very limited and just says that bystanders reported he was in the lake. Roquel Rosario Lopez, I could not find an age for, but the picture I found, he looks like he's pretty young. Roquel was a part of Team ADP, who set up the GoFundMe for his family. They stated, Roquel has been an integral part of the ADP family and the day-to-day success of our business for nearly 2 years. During his time with ADP, he and his brother Abe helped establish a foundation of positivity, teamwork, and reliability that has resonated through ADP as a whole, and we appreciate them more than we can express. They also said they would miss his upbeat energy, sense of humor, and smile. He disappeared Saturday, January 1st, 2022, and was found on January 6th. "59-year-old Ricky Parks. The only thing I can find about Ricky is that he had a history of cutting people with a knife. Of course, I don't know that for a fact that he's guilty. He did time in prison for it and was arrested for another knife assault in 2017. The incident in 2017 he claimed was self-defense. I don't know the outcome of that case. He was found Thursday, July 14th, 2022, near 9 East Avenue. "29-year-old Joshua Alvin Crow. It looks like he had an Etsy shop making jewelry from gemstones and springs. And to be honest, they actually look pretty cool. A friend posted that Josh was a great guy, he had a natural gravitational kindness, and you wanted to be his friend. He was found Friday, July 22nd, 2022. His cause of death was listed as blunt force trauma to the head and chest while riding his bike back to work on Rainy Street. But the police claimed there was no evidence and it was a bicycle accident. Christopher Gutiérrez. I could not find a photo, I could not find an age, and I couldn't honestly find out who he was. He was found Saturday, December 10th, 2022, near South Pleasant Valley Road and South Lakeshore Boulevard. If anybody has any information about him or any of the other people that I don't have information on, feel free to put it in the comments. "45-year-old Josue Marino. I couldn't verify if he was either of the people I found with the same name, so I don't really have information to share about who he was. The incident happened on Monday, December 19th, 2022. An investigation determined that someone shot Josue while he was driving alongside the lake, and his truck went through a guardrail and off a bridge into the body of water. EMS did try to save his life, but were unable to. Police arrested 19-year-old Joel Santiago Gonzalez Peron in Josue's death in February 2023. According to an arrest warrant affidavit obtained by KXAN TV, authorities said Joel told them he thought someone else was in the truck, and Josue was operating in the truck that Josue was operating that ended up crashing into the lake. 56-year-old Kyle Thornton. I also couldn't find a photo of him, and I couldn't find anything about who he was. He was found Wednesday, December 28th, 2022, near the Congress Avenue Bridge, and that is all the information I could find. "30-year-old Jason John, also known as JJ. Jason attended Corpus Christi Elementary School and Port Chester Middle School. He received a scholarship to Brunswick High School in Greenwich, Connecticut. Jason obtained his bachelor's in business administration from New York University and started his career in New York City. During COVID, he moved to Florida and worked remotely before moving to Austin, Texas in 2021 with his puppy, Ruffle. He was happy and had just received a promotion. He disappeared on Sunday, February 5th, 2023, and was found 8 days later on February 13th. He went out with friends for the night. He texted his girlfriend to tell her about a DJ he met at a bar, including a photo of the guy. I, however, was not able to obtain a copy of that photo. Jason was the first of his friends to head home. He was seen walking halfway home, then vanished. His mom stated that he would have never gone into the water on his own. "41-year-old Clifton Axtell. Cliff married Megan McKnight on March 5, 2016. He worked as a land specialist for Veritas Commercial Properties in Austin, Texas, where he was known for his innovative strategies in commercial real estate. He was in his senior year at Harvard Extension School, where he made the dean's list each semester. He attended Southwest Bible Church and was active in Celebrate Recovery, where he led worship for 3 years. He had compassion, wit, kindness, and the capacity to capture beauty and truth in his art. He loved writing and playing music. Cliff had the ability to energize the room with his fierce intellect and creativity. He disappeared on and was found about a week later on March 5th. I found one report that said he may have fallen or entered the water or had a natural event near the water, according to a medical examiner's report. The only other thing mentioned was that he went to the doctors 2 days before he was reported missing, saying he was depressed but didn't want to hurt himself. 33-year-old Jonathan Seth Honey. John was known for his outgoing personality, cheerful outlook on life, and his infectious smile. He loved shooting sports, fishing, and was adept at boat maintenance. He liked cross-country and track and field events. He had a master's in science degree in system engineering. He disappeared Friday, March 31st, 2023, and was found on April 1st. He was in town for a bachelor trip and was found a day after he was last seen at a food truck on Rainey Street. 30-year-old John Christopher Hayes Clark. John was devoted and loving father to his 12-year-old son. He was a fun-loving guy with a great sense of humor and was the kind of person that brightened any room he walked into. He was found Saturday, April 15th, 2023. His is one of the few that says the investigation is ongoing. Not sure if that's because of the timing of the report or if they are actually investigating it. 38-year-old Jeff Jones is another survivor. Jeff is a salesman and account manager with a Bachelor in Science degree in mechanical engineering. He was attacked on June 23, 2023. Jeff was drugged and plummeted 25 feet off a bridge, narrowly missing certain drowning, and believes he could have been targeted by the Rainy Street Ripper. He woke up in the hospital more than 2 weeks later with metal rods holding his back together, and doctors found benzodiazepine, commonly found in a drug that's unknowingly put into people's drinks. Jones believes he was drugged before the attacker pushed him off the bridge over a stream where he was supposed to drown and float away. Jeff was initially in a coma for a week during a series of surgeries, but then caught pneumonia and had to be induced a second time. He wasn't able to leave the hospital for 17 days, while his older sister Amy dropped everything to fly in and stay by his bedside, before taking him to her home in New Hampshire to recover. He still has no idea what happened to him in those 3 hours between disappearing and being spotted below the bridge. The bridge is an old stone structure with a wide raised wall that makes it impossible to simply drunkenly wander off the edge. He says that if someone was standing next to him, they could have shoved him and flipped him over it. Moga Dogal. I couldn't find any information about him, so I did a different type of search and found something stating that he may have possibly been 24 years old. He was found Tuesday, June 27, 2023, near West Cesar Chavez Street, and there is no other information given. "23-year-old Connor Desserly is another survivor. I couldn't find anything really stating who he was, but I do know that his friends were looking for him and co-workers. He disappeared Saturday, February 3rd, 2024, and his friends located him in the hospital. I don't know the exact date, but I do know it was posted online on February 6th that they had found him. As per a Twitter or X, depending on what you want to call it, a post, it said he was seen going into a lounge with a few girls that he didn't know. He was found unresponsive in an alley, and paramedics had to resuscitate him. He was drugged and robbed, in recovery at the hospital right now, and has no recollection of anything. There are 4 other victims that I've seen online for this year, and they don't give any names at all, so I'll just give you the information that is very limited to what I found. Unknown female found Monday, February 5th, 2024. Unknown male found Tuesday, April 9th, 2024, possibly a heart attack, not in the lake but under a bridge. Unknown black male found Saturday, April 13th, 2024. A fisherman reported self-inflicted death. Unknown male found Friday, July 5th, 2024. Blunt force trauma or self-inflicted gunshot. A lot of people point out the similarities of most of the victims, because most of them are young and they have dark hair and they are men. Most of them are leaving bars when they disappear, and most of them are said by their friends to be the friendliest people. Other locations where there are similar things going on as all of these are Boston, Massachusetts, Brooklyn, New York, Chicago, Illinois, Corpus Christi, Texas, Dallas, Texas, Detroit, Michigan, Minneapolis, Minnesota, New York City, New York, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Ridley Township, Pennsylvania, and I'm sure there's many more that I didn't find. The theories that I've seen commented on all over Facebook are people getting their drinks spiked, then being picked up by fake Ubers, people getting their drinks spiked by bartenders that are working with other people, people given something to make them feel sick, then knocked into the lake, people seeing others drunk and walking, then taking advantage of the situation, robberies gone bad, smiley face killers, human trafficking but bodies get dumped when they die, and also police involvement. If they are involved in any of them and arrest people on the other cases, it could narrow things down to where the police involvement in some are obvious, and so they believe there's a cover-up. On one Facebook page, there were some online theories compiled by Nick Westberg. I'm assuming they're online theories. They could just be his theories. I'm not really sure. Theory 1, the Rainy Street Stalker. The most prominent theory is that a serial killer dubbed the Rainy Street Stalker is targeting young men who frequent the popular nightlife district. The offender may be blending in with the crowds, surveying potential victims, and waiting for the right moment to strike. They could be drugging the men's drinks at bars, following them out, and then drowning them in the nearby lake to hide evidence of foul play. This theory is supported by the striking similarities between many of the victims. Men in their late 20s to early 30s who disappeared after nights out on Rainy Street and were later found dead in the water. The clusters of deaths in a short time frame also suggest an active predator. However, without more evidence directly linking the cases or pointing to a specific suspect, this theory remains speculative. It's also possible that similarities are coincidental and the result of risky behavior patterns rather than a serial killer. Theory 2, the Lady Bird Lake robbery ring. Another possibility is that the deaths are connected to a robbery scheme targeting intoxicated victims near the lake. A group of criminals could be luring or following men from the bars to the water's edge, robbing them and then leaving them to drown in the lake. The lack of wallets and phones found on some of the deceased could support this theory. Gangs and robbery crews have been known to prey on vulnerable victims in entertainment districts using the chaos and crowds as cover. The lake's poor lighting and lack of surveillance cameras would make it an attractive location for this type of crime. However, the robbery theory doesn't fully explain the concentration of similar victims in such a short time frame. It also seems unlikely that multiple robbers would consistently use drowning as a murder method, as it's time-consuming and risky, and some of the victims were still found with valuables on them. Theory 3. The smiley face connection. The smiley face killer theory, which emerged in the late 1990s, proposes that a network of serial killers is staging the drowning deaths of young men across the United States. The theory is named for alleged smiley face graffiti found near some of the crime scenes. Proponents believe the victims are drugged, abducted, and then dumped in bodies of water to make their deaths look accidental. While the FBI has not endorsed the smiley face killer theory, and many experts consider it an urban legend, some see parallels with the Lady Bird Lake deaths. The victims fit a similar profile: young white men out drinking with friends who end up dead in the water. And the cluster of cases is a single location that suggests a local cell of the alleged network. However, there are also significant differences between the Austin deaths and the smiley face cases. No smiley face graffiti has been found near Lady Bird Lake. and the victims here died in the same small body of water rather than scattered locations. The smiley face theory is also highly controversial and not universally accepted among law enforcement. Theory 4, the Lady Bird Lake Curse. On the more supernatural end of the spectrum, some have suggested the Lady Bird Lake deaths are the result of a curse or malevolent entity haunting the area. Austin has a rich history of ghost stories and urban legends, and some locals claim the lake is a hotspot for paranormal activity. According to this theory, the victims could have been lured into the water by a siren-like spirit or drowned by a vengeful ghost. Some have even pointed to the lake's history as a dumping ground for bodies during the city's early days as a possible origin for the curse. However, there is no scientific evidence to support the existence of curses or supernatural beings, and while the idea may be comforting to some who don't want to believe a human killer is responsible, it doesn't hold up to logical scrutiny. Theory 5, the copycat drownings. Another possibility is that the initial drowning deaths in 2022 were accidents or isolated incidents, but they inspired copycats to commit similar crimes. The heavy media coverage and social media speculation about the cases could have put the idea in disturbed individuals' heads and provided a blueprint for staging drownings. Copycat crimes are a well-documented phenomenon, especially in high-profile cases. The notoriety and fear generated by the Lady Bird Lake deaths could be attractive to someone seeking attention or with a grudge against the victim's demographic. However, the copycat theory doesn't fully explain the consistency in the victims' profiles and circumstances of their disappearances. It also seems unlikely that multiple copycats would be operating in the same area and using the same methods. Theory 6, the accidental drowning cluster. The official theory put forth by Austin police is that the deaths are a tragic cluster of accidental drownings, not homicides. They argue that a combination of intoxication, poor lighting, and easy access to the water is to blame, not a serial killer. This theory is supported by autopsy results showing no signs of foul play in some of the recovered bodies. The victims' blood alcohol levels and lack of obvious trauma suggest they drowned accidentally after entering the water voluntarily or falling in while impaired. However, the sheer number of similar deaths in such a short time frame stretches the bounds of coincidence, and the lack of public information about the police investigations and full autopsy reports leaves room for doubt. The accidental drowning theory also doesn't sit well with some of the victims' families, who argue their loved ones knew better than to go near the water while drunk. Theory 7, the algae bloom poisoning. A more unconventional theory is that the deaths could be related to toxic algae blooms in Lady Bird Lake. Certain types of blue-green algae can produce potent neurotoxins that cause respiratory paralysis, seizures, and other life-threatening symptoms in humans and animals. If the victims ingested or came into contact with water contaminated by a harmful algae bloom, it could explain their sudden deaths and lack of obvious injuries. Exposure could have occurred through swimming, drinking, or even inhaling aerosolized droplets near the shore. However, local authorities have not issued any warnings about toxic algae in Lady Bird Lake, and it's unlikely that multiple victims would have voluntarily entered the water if it appeared visibly contaminated. The algae theory doesn't explain the victims' similar profiles and disappearances from the Rainy Street area. Theory 8, the experimenting serial killer. Another possibility is that the deaths are the work of a serial killer who is experimenting with different methods of victim types. The offender could be using the lake as a dumping ground for bodies while honing their skills and signature. This theory could explain the slight variations in the victims' demographics and circumstances, as well as the gaps between clusters of deaths. The killer may be taking breaks to cool off, relocate, or change their approach based on media coverage and police investigations. However, the experimenting serial killer theory is hard to prove without more evidence linking the cases and pointing to a specific suspect. It also seems risky for a budding serial killer to use such a high-profile dumping ground, as opposed to more secluded locations. Theory 9. The homeless encampment killings. Lady Bird Lake is known to have homeless encampments along its shores, and some have suggested the deaths could be connected to conflicts or crimes within that community. The victims could have had run-ins with unstable individuals living near the water or stumbling upon illegal activities. This theory is supported by the fact that some of the victims were found in more secluded areas of the lake, away from popular swimming spots and trails. And the transient nature of the homeless population could make it difficult for police to identify and track potential suspects. However, the homeless encampment theory doesn't fully explain the victims' similar profiles or the concentration of deaths in such a short time frame. It also risks unfairly stigmatizing a vulnerable population without concrete evidence. Theory 10. The Lady Bird Lake Vigilante. Finally, some have speculated that the deaths could be the work of a vigilante, targeting men who prey on women in the Rainy Street bar scene. The offender could be seeking to punish or prevent other assaults and other crimes by luring potential predators to the lake and drowning them. This theory is supported by the fact that the victims were all men who were last seen in the area known for heavy drinking and partying, and the lack of public outcry or demands for justice could suggest that some view the deaths as karmic retribution. However, the vigilante theory is highly speculative and not supported by any concrete evidence. It also seems unlikely that a single individual could overpower and drown multiple adult men without leaving signs of a struggle or attracting attention. Ultimately, more evidence is needed to determine which, if any, of these theories is correct. The investigation into the Lady Bird Lake deaths is ongoing, and new information could emerge that shifts the narrative in unexpected ways. Some of you may be wondering what my theory is, and that is actually a bit complex and simple at the same time. It is a fact that some people are being drugged, and if the people are not tested in a short time, the drugs are no longer detectable. That on top of the fact that being in water can destroy a lot of evidence. And while some of these incidences are self-inflicted and some are accidents, I believe there are several people responsible for the deaths of a lot of these people. I believe some are targeted because of their appearance, but I also believe there are multiple reasons for that. I think some are targeted to fit the obvious profile of young, dark hair, and friendly, and easy to manipulate. I think there are some that are victims of hate crimes because of their sexual preference or assumed preferences. I think there are homeless people being targeted as well, and on top of that, I believe that people with a criminal history are also being targeted. Yes, there are people out there doing this, but it is multiple people for multiple reasons. Bartenders, DJs, women, the police. The suspects can be in any of these categories and more. Some people may be targeted because they remind the attacker of someone they are mad at. When it comes to these kinds of crimes, there is no rational explanation. It doesn't matter if the person thinks they are getting justice for themselves or someone else. It doesn't matter if someone thinks they're doing God's work. It doesn't matter if it's all about money. No reason justifies the end result. These people are not the only ones hurt in all of this. Friends and families are hurting and will continue to hurt for a long time. So for those that are interested in these cases, that are joining message groups and talking about what is happening, keep in mind that the people that have lost their loved ones need compassion. Before I end this video, I would like to share with you more nameless victims. Wednesday, February 10th, 2010. Saturday, January 14th, 2012, at Barton Springs. Thursday, June 14th at 2012. Saturday, July 4th, 2015 at Colorado River. Thursday, September 17th, 2015, a male at Auditorium Shores. Sunday, February 14th, 2016, someone in their 50s. Monday, February 29th, 2016, a woman in her 60s. According to an article by Fox 7 Austin, her death was being treated as a homicide since it's located in a body of water and we don't know what occurred. We're going to handle it as suspicious until we determine otherwise, says Corporal Angel Polanski, Austin Police Department. Sunday, August 28, 2016, at Auditorium Shores. Friday, December 23, 2016, someone in their 40s near 135 and Holiday Inn. Wednesday, December 28, 2016, about 50 years old. Thursday, September 27th, 2018, near Congress Bridge. Sunday, August 4th, 2019, near 800 West Cesar Chavez. Wednesday, August 14th, 2019. Saturday, December 11th, 2021, pond at Hilton Garden Inn. Saturday, January 8th, 2022, Walnut Creek. Wednesday, June 15th, 2022. Friday, July 15th, 2022. And Sunday, December 11th, 2022. And I'm sure there are a lot of other people that are not on this list. This is just what I've been able to find. And I'm not guaranteeing that everything is 100% accurate because I don't have the facts in front of me. I only have what I can find online. Another thing I would like to say is to try and be aware of your surroundings. Always stay with friends, even if you feel embarrassed by appearing too drunk, too fast, especially if it's not normal for you. Never let a friend wander off alone. Don't leave with someone you don't know, and check into the various things they have for testing your drinks for drugs. I seen someone mention a nail polish and a chip that you dip into your drink, but I'm sure there are a lot of other options, so you can pick the one that is most convenient for you. Be safe out there, and this is the end of the video, and I hope that you guys learned something and you guys are being safe. Thank you for watching, and I need a break because I've been working on this for a very long time, so I will be back as soon as I'm able. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share, and get your friends to do the same thing. Thank you. Bye.